Hello, everybody. I
Sup,
am
bitches?
back. I am back.
Don't worry,
It's-
I was a pretty fucking
I,
good
I
teller.
was. I was gonna say thank you for standing in, Gabe. You did a hell of a job. Great podcast.
Thanks.
But I'm back for podcast number 8.
Thank God.
And we have a very special guest today, but I am a little biased.
Thanks, Mom.
This is Gia. She's 16
Aw.
years old. This is my daughter, Gia. And I wanted to bring her on the podcast to talk about issues that kids her age have. And because one of the things, Gia, is I get a lot of moms ask me about their teenage children and how to approach it if they're gaining weight. And moms are always afraid to use the word diet, and they don't address it with their kids. And part of me thinks that not addressing it isn't good either, because ever since we stopped addressing it, I think the population of teenagers that are overweight is growing more and more.
Agreed.
And I'm from the view that the kid will look back someday and say, Mom, you never said anything, or you never helped me. That's always my fear. So I'm hoping that you can enlighten us on body image of 16, 17, 15-year-olds and help us through that whole process, because I think moms out there and dads need some help with it and some guidance. And like I always say to you, you guys do not come with instructions, so we always try our best. But I think my point of view is only one, so I think it's best to get a teenage point of view.
So, to begin, I just think at a young age, too, like being insecure, especially, I think and I'll go into later, but I think to start at a young age talking, like, let's say I want to say 15, you have a 15-year-old daughter that's a little overweight. I think going to her or him and just explaining that you need a healthier lifestyle rather than a diet. Because I think, actually thinking about this for a little bit, that a child won't change unless the household changes with the parents, because that's all the child knows. It's not like you have an adult form yet of a mindset. So I think in order to really change the parents and everyone around them, their environment has to change with that. Because I think, especially like I want to say going into 8th grade, I had a problem with I was not eating, because I was just I just got so focused on the number of calories I was consuming terribly, and it wasn't anyone's fault besides mine. And I don't really want to say a fault, but
You didn't have the maturity.
Yeah.
You don't have the mindset or the maturity to
and
understand.
that's what I think is the problem, is because you can't go to a 15-year-old. I don't think the word diet should be said until you're 17, because you don't have the maturity and you'll just get wrapped in the numbers and the scale, because that's what happened to me. And I want to say 14, and I remember it got really bad that my brother would notice and be like, what did you eat today? And it was nothing. But I just think you have to go, especially parents, you have to go to your child and make a lifestyle change and a household change, rather than just saying a diet. Because if you say a diet, it's
Negative.
It gets not, I wouldn't even say negative. I just think it's just too overwhelming for a mind a mind like that.
For someone to comprehend.
Yeah. And
Well, I just want to tell everybody who's listening, and this is exactly the reason why I brought Gia on. Gia has always been an old soul, and I knew she would give us some insight. And the fact that you even said that the household needs to change is absolutely key.
I think also too, because you're in the diet world and I'm more in the fitness, I want to say.
Right.
I work, shout out Alpha, but I work.
Shout out to Alpha. That's okay. You can say that.
I work, and I just think, especially seeing kids my age come and want to be healthy, most of my friends, I even want to say even before we got 16, 15, and even when we were younger, everyone's oh, I'm fat, I didn't eat today, I don't want to eat, I want to look good,
What do you think that's from? Do you think that's social media?
I think it is, but I think it starts with social media, but I think it also is comparing, because I want to say for the last couple months, and I've recently just kind of got out of it. I'm still it's a struggle. I'm still a teen, so I know. But comparing is that's just all you know is your friends and your
Right.
small little group, and you go out and you get ready together, and I'm not a stick. Like, I'm athletic, and I think that's, like, my biggest thing is, like, I want to excel at sports. So, like, my body type can't be a little, like, stick. So, like, and I think a lot of my friends that aren't in sports as much, it's just easier. And I think it, like, takes a toll on me, and it did for a while, like, going out, getting ready, and, like, I was just, like, I wasn't what everyone else was going, like, out with. And especially, like, one of my friend groups, like, I'm just not the ideal, like, stick, skinny girl.
Well, do you think, as much as you on one side looks at that, do you think that the stick girls look at you and think something's wrong? Or do you think that's in your head?
I think,
Like, how much of that is peer pressure?
I think most of it is really in my head, like, and I'm growing out of it, and not to say, like, I'm 100% like out of it, like, I'm in high school, I'm gonna compare, I'm gonna wish, like, something was better, but it's just, I know it's in my head, but it's also, like, I think I've been in a better point, too, so I know I could, like, look better, but, like, I'm never gonna be what I want to be, so I just kind of have to accept who I am. Like, that's what I'm realizing now, is because even if I were to be, like, a little skinnier, or I was a stick, or then I'd want to be better, and I'd want to, like, lift more. Like, that's, like, my main focus right now is lifting more, so I have to have energy to do that, and I can't be a stick. So I'm never going to be where I want or look how I want and do what I want to do.
So your message to teenagers is really to try to find the peace within yourself
Yeah.
Right.
and be healthy.
100%.
Yeah.
And especially to athletes, I want to say is different, because I have a lot of friends that, like, don't do a sport, which is totally fine. Like, you do you if you're comfortable, whatever. But I find, like, the more athletic people, it's harder, and, like, you have a bigger build because of what you need to do and accomplish, and especially if you want to, like, excel. So it's definitely hard, I want to say, as a teen, and, like, you just, like, don't fit the standard. But also, what is a standard? You really don't know.
Well, that's my point. And Gabe is a good barometer because Gabe's older than you.
Yeah.
And social media wasn't as big in
No,
high school,
I
right? Like,
think-
what was going on in social media when you were in high school?
Yeah. No, I think, like, great
Snapchat or
points.
something?
I'm not even. Like, I think when you mentioned about comparison and social media and things like that, Instagram wasn't popular. Snapchat wasn't popular probably until we were maybe juniors or seniors in high school. So I personally never went down an avenue where I was comparing myself to my friends physically and body-wise, but I totally get the comparison aspect. I think, especially where we grew up, it's like materialism. We compared
Right.
a lot of, like, materialistic things.
Yeah.
Oh, like, what car are you driving, or who has the nicest car in the lot, or people would try and beat you for the first parking spot in the lot, which
Yeah.
honestly is fucking ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. But
But
it's also
that-
part of growing up, I
But
think,
that
too.
whole
Yeah.
aspect of comparison is, I think, like, so regardless of social media or not, is so ingrained in you as a young kid and as a teenager as you're growing up, you know?
But that's-
Regardless of what that is.
That's the whole thing. Like, there's always going to be comparison in high school. Like, if
Right.
it's cars, if it's, like, a purse, if it's body. And I think, especially this generation, like mine, it's literally how you look. Like, I've, like, even, like, you've seen me, like, have nights where I'm just, like, I literally look terrible. Like, I don't know what to do. And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, like, that was just a moment. But I think facing, like, what I did in 8th grade, like, going through that period of time where it was just, like, horrible, and, like, couldn't even, like, for instance, like, I remember coming home one night and you had chicken parm. I always tell you this, but chicken parm was so good. Oh my god. You had chicken parm.
Nikolai must have been. Oh well, they had.
Yeah. No, this was in 8th grade. So you had, like, I walked in from school, and, like, this was, like, my period where, like, I didn't eat, and, like, no one even knew. Like, I wasn't, like, I guess I got moodier, but, like, I wouldn't let anyone see. Like, I always, like, dressed, like, in baggy clothes. I don't know. Like, when I lost a ton of weight, like, I didn't also want anyone seeing. So it was, like, more in my mind. But I remember I came home and there was chicken parm. And, like, this was, like, in the main, like, not me eating, like, would cry. And I literally came home, walked through the front door, saw the chicken parm, and bawled my eyes out. And it was, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't eat this, and I'm starving. But, like, I literally would not let myself have it. Like, that was it. And I think that's, like, when I was, like, okay.
Well, here's another thing then, and I could be wrong, and tell me if I'm wrong. But what I find is that moms are now telling me that their daughter's on social media. You're right, because there's filters, and they're younger and younger on social
Filters,
media.
Facetune,
Right.
so many apps.
Right, and let's face it, the ones that are, I mean, that's the world we live in. The prettiest, the thinnest are going to your For You page, I guess it is, or
Right.
they're the more visible
Yeah.
ones.
FYP.
Yes, I'm learning.
A FIP.
So moms will say to me all the time that their daughter, who is absolutely beautiful, now all of a sudden wants plastic surgery, or their daughter that has no weight to lose always is saying how fat she is. But yet the overweight child seems to hold that in, because most moms that come to me say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to address it. And I say, is it bothering? Because I always think it will bother them no matter what. And they'll always say to me, they're not verbalizing it. So that to me is a little, do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, when I was overweight as a kid, I never verbalized to my parents, "Oh, I want to lose weight." They always verbalized to me, "You should lose weight," but I never wanted to.
right. So what
That's the
what
thing,
is
and I
that
think-
that dynamic
But
part of it?
I think that's just like, if your child, I don't even want to say overweight, but if your child's not healthy, then that's a health, like that's
Right.
for their health. But if they're like a little, like, I don't even want to say like, if
Thick.
they feel, if they're
They're
thick,
thick with a few C's.
with a few C's, then like that's just them. Like they don't care to look the ideal. Like some people don't care. Like some people.
But do you believe that? Do you believe in your
I
heart
think-
that teenagers?
I don't think all of them care. I
You
think
don't.
most of them. I don't think all. Like I'm sure everyone, even if you're sick, then you have nights. That's everyone. That's just a mind. Like that's just a mind. But I think some people are truly comfortable with who they are. Like no matter what they look like.
Yeah. Do you think that's just not caring, or do you think that that's just a good self-esteem? Because that's a difference too.
I think that's confidence.
You think it's confidence.
I think
I like to hear that. That's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad about that.
I don't see why. Because I also think then, and if you don't think that's confidence, I think that's judgment in a way, because they're like, oh, they're not to my ideal standards. Like, are you sure they're okay? Like, yeah, they're okay. That's them. But I think if it's bothering them, and you
But
could see
that's my
that,
point. I don't know if they always
like,
verbalize
but
it.
I think you would have some type of hints, or if not, that's a hard topic to like go about it. But I think I think without saying anything, you have to change the household. Like you have to change what's in the fridge, what you pack, and like you can't control what they do outside of the house or what they eat or like what they do, but you can control what's given to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to make your child healthy, make a healthy dinner. Don't make an unhealthy dinner for you, and then because that's how you get,
Right.
get mental health issues, and that's how you build a wall between like a parent and a child. Is if they can blatantly see the difference.
So they
the
can have
treatment.
like a hidden
Yeah.
resentment. So that's what the advice you would give to the moms.
Yeah.
So how do you think they should approach it?
If it's not verbalized by the child, you just have to make changes in the house.
Like
that-
small changes at
like,
a time.
Yeah.
And don't even address it.
Yeah. And if you don't see changes or they come to you, I think, because then in a way, if they didn't verbalize it and they are okay with themselves and you just went to them and said, hey, like, are you okay? Then that's where am I not? Like, am I not okay? Like, do I not look good? So I think if it was really an issue, they would come to you. But that's just how I was. I remember I was, like, wanted to, like, just, like, shape up a little, and I came to you. But I think if it was that big of an issue, it would be verbalized, or you would see, or you would, like, notice changes.
Well, I think it depends on who it is too, because one of
Yeah.
my sons, he was younger and he actually cried. He was, he said, you
Yeah.
help everybody lose weight except me. And I said, you tell me and I'll help you. And I
Yeah.
did. But
And-
I felt that he needed to verbalize
But
it
I
to
think,
me.
I don't know, I think mother instincts, though, you kind of pick up on it if it really, truly is bothering. In a way, I think that's just, like,
Because
mother to
I say
child.
this all the time. Growing up, there used to be maybe a handful of heavy kids. Now, with the American diet and the sugar that's added to everything, it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's more kids are heavier, and
Yeah.
and there's a smaller amount of kids that are in shape and fit.
But I also think if you were strict in a household and they ask for things, you have to, if they're extremely healthy, because I remember, like, the skinniest point in my life, I ate anything I want. I had no mindset of diet culture. Like, I just ate when I was intuitively eating, but I ate what I wanted. When I was full, I stopped. Now it's like, oh, I kind of got into, like, the fitness and like whatever, and sometimes I just eat because I'm bored, and it was never like that. I think when you have a good relationship with food, it's just kind of like gradually, but as you get older that changes. You really can't anymore, like it just different. So I think for a child, a diet, it's hard. I don't think the maturity level of anything younger than a 17-year-old should be on a diet in a sense.
right.
Like I think an ideal protein snack is great, but I don't think there should be
No, I
restricted-
don't mean to put them
No,
on a
no,
restrictive
no.
IP, but just to,
I think,
yes, they can
yeah,
fill in for snacks.
that's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying,
The
but
healthy
I'm
option.
saying I don't think the maturity level of even, like, it's different. I don't know. I think a diet is just too much for someone so young.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do
Yeah.
agree with you, but I think,
And I'm just saying that from my experience because that was me. So,
no.
and I feel like I was.
Do you and
always-
your friends ever talk about weight or things that,
Yeah, I try not to because I'm not the level. One of my friend groups, I have a bunch, and like when I go out with one of my school friends that I'm like very close with, like a guy school, I feel so good because I'm surrounded by people that like are kind of like me, like my size, and I have one friend group where everyone's tiny and like beautiful, and like everyone's like, oh, like not even with like anyone, but like you always just hear girls saying like, oh, I didn't eat today, like yada, or like, oh, I'm trying to like lose 10 pounds in like a week. Like it's always, I'm like,
yeah, that has to come from social media.
Yeah,
But
like,
I
where
I
do
don't
you
think,
that
yeah,
comes
where does
from?
that, yeah, where does that come?
I don't, honestly, I think mine wasn't from social media. Like I didn't look at someone and be like, I need to look like that. Like mine was just based off my friends and who I was with.
Yeah, but I don't believe that a
Like-
young kid can say to their mother that they need plastic surgery
That was
if
but-
they weren't on social media, because they wouldn't have known
But
that. They would have been.
when I was 14 and lost a bunch, I wasn't looking at anyone like on social. Like that wasn't me. Like I didn't have Snapchat or like anything. Like I remember like literally being 8 and being like, oh, I'm fat, and like want to lose weight. That
At
was just
8
me.
years old.
Like I could, yeah. I remember I had these shorts at 8, 100%. But I also think because I'm just like I have an older mindset too. Like I don't know. Like I still have the same thought process then.
As if you did when you
Yeah.
were 3.
I mean,
know.
maybe
I have,
not
like-
necessarily social media, but then you look
Yeah.
at like TV, you look at reality TV, right? It's huge. Within the past 15, 20 years, reality TV is the majority of what's on network television right now. You
Right.
have people on Real Housewives, the Kardashians, getting plastic surgery left and right, liposuctions
Yeah.
whenever they want.
So I think
Right, but
social
if you
media
if
does
you didn't have
play.
such access to them, you wouldn't realize that. And if a kid is healthy, it doesn't really matter. And I think we all need to teach them to have good self images. And I think that the media needs to do a better job with representing them.
I agree. And representing everyone, not just,
So-
like
Yeah.
someone, not just, let's say the quote unquote, like realistic versus unrealistic body standard.
See, that's what I love, and I was thinking about this today. I don't think saying unrealistic is right. I just think it needs to be more inclusive because to the girls that truly like cannot gain weight and have the thinner body or a thinner type, like Gigi Hadid, like not saying that, but some girls physically like look like them. So I think it's hypocritical to say we need to take Kendall and like
Yes, I agree with
Gigi
you.
off the modeling industry because some people like that's their idols. Just like people need to look up to the middle like model status that have like a body type like me, then they're hypocritical to the thin girls that like don't have an idol to look up to. So I think just the model industry should have everybody, every single like color, skin, like just so everyone has anything, because I think saying Kendall isn't realistic is hypocritical in a sense because that's saying like bigger girls, there's no bigger girls then, which there is. So I think in a sense to say, yes, there's fewer girls like Kendall, but then there's also fewer girls like Lizzo. And I don't mean that in like a sense, but like there's just different types. So I think we need to show like everyone.
Everyone, absolutely.
And like but I don't think Kendall or Gigi should be the face at all because those are fewer type. I think just like normal people, and like companies are doing that, which I love.
I love it
but
too,
I
but
think
it has to.
every
They're
body
always
types-
concerned about the bottom line.
But like I think everyone should have someone to look up to or like a model that they can like feel like a connection to. So I don't think saying unrealistic. There's no unrealistic body standard because who you are is who you are, and that's just unrealistic. I just think like everyone's.
It's just if anybody gets the chance to go on YouTube and Google the trailer to Fed Up, Did I ever show that to you?
At least like once a week.
Yeah, I do. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm starting to repeat myself even to Gabe. That's an incredible trailer only because it tells you the food industry. Because we had, when people say our kids aren't as active as we were because we were outside playing, that's not true because we didn't have organized sports like you guys have. And you guys are more active. I mean, our schedules were nothing like your schedule. So you are active. So it's the food that we're eating. And you can't tell me Chipotle is so healthy. I mean, it's just not. Not that it's maybe a healthier option for kids.
Right.
But
so I think the only factor in that is there was no social media back in your day. That's the only. It's not a controlled experiment in a sense. Like the thing that you guys didn't have social media, so you guys weren't caring about bodies then. So the only new implement in our society is social media.
That's what I think it is.
So I think me comparing myself to my friends and who I'm surrounded with is
like someone else's version
of like, so like my friend losing 10 pounds was from social media. So then that makes me be like, oh crap, like I need to like.
It's almost like it's
waterfall.
Like it flows, a waterfall.
A waterfall effect.
Yeah.
What is it called? Like a controlled experiment? I don't know. I'm gonna attempt
So let me ask you something. What age would you say is acceptable to have kids on social media?
Like this is my thing. I don't.
The maturity level that they have to.
I don't know. That's a tough question. I think you have to understand your child and like what, but like it's gonna affect them regardless. I think it's gonna affect them at 8 as it is at 16.
Yeah, but at 16 you're more mature.
Yeah, but you also then are more self-conscious, and then you see these models that you want to be, and like that's what I'm saying. So like now, like my 8-year-old self wasn't looking at Kendall Jenner and be like, oh, I need to look like Kendall Jenner. 16-year-olds are now being like, oh, I need to look like Kendall Jenner. So it's like different things. Like I think social media at like a younger age is just like safety reasons rather than like mental health.
Like not being able to look, okay.
So
but not the mental health part to it.
Because I think also when you're 8, you don't care. So I think 8 to like 10, not even 10. 10's like old now. Like
10-year-olds now.
Like
I'm a friggin' dinosaur.
That's what I'm saying. So like I know it was like 6 years with phones. Like so I think like that sounds crazy to even make. God, I think 6 to like 8, borderline 9, you like are on social media to like look at toys and like go on a For You page and like see some like new cool like tie-dye shirts, and then like 10 to like 14 I think is like when you're like finding out things and like are getting more insecure and like learning your body and like growing. So I think
you're looking up some messed up stuff.
Yeah, so like I think regardless
Can you imagine
from
what
10
kids are Googling?
So it's either like sooner or later.
Right.
So like I don't even know if age is like a thing anymore or a concept with social media, because it's going to be the same thing from 10 till 14.
So is there anything parents can do to boost self-esteem?
I literally think it's being in a good relationship, because what I notice, like when I'm closest with you, I'm more confident in myself. That's just because you're great, but...
Aw, gee.
No, but like I find when like I talk to you the most, and I'm like the most at peace with myself. So I think it's like building, honestly, like a relationship with your parents, or like not even
So
parents.
then you believe it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Yeah. 100%. That's the best way to put it.
So parents need to look at more relationships that they're having.
Yeah. And understanding
great point.
And also, if your child is overeating, it's definitely another reason. It's not the food. It's something else bothering them.
It's an emotional.
So it's definitely, like, I think if your 6-year-old is overeating, there's something wrong then. That's a great way. I don't think it's the food. I completely changed if I said it wrong, actually, because I think if there's an issue, then it's deeper with inside. Because I know when I had a food issue, it wasn't the food itself, it was me.
Right.
So I think there's always a deeper issue. But not even like, and I don't like, I just think as I'm growing older too, like you have to build a relationship with your family. Like you have to, like those are the people that are going to build you up. Because like friends are great, and like.
No, I always say that your family's
like,
going to be there no matter what.
Friends that I'm like learning as I get older, like everyone's their own like living lot, like they're living their own life. And I think that you need to talk to people that like love you. Truly.
And you may not always get along with them, and God knows we know that, but
like,
you may not, but you're all going to drop everything for each other and be there.
Yeah, and I think as I'm getting older and I'm getting closer with like my brother Nikolai and like Christopher, but like Nikolai, like, he's my support system right now. Like I always like if I need him, like he's there, like, especially you or like. But I can call anyone in my family, which I'm grateful for, and I know everyone can't. But I think building relationships with family members really build off of like your self-esteem because they truly know who you are as a person. So like when they tell you like, oh, good job, like you know, you truly know you did a good job. It's not just like.
Right.
And they tell you when you mess up.
Right.
So.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a really great point.
But I think self-esteem too is like, because even I want to say the last like 2 months I've been like battling with like how I look because like I've been lifting and like whatever, but like that also like like that like trickles over into like my like life with my friends or like I'm not that confident going out.
She has a few girlfriends, you included. They're beautiful, beautiful girls. So when I hear them say how ugly they look, you don't know what that does to me. Because
they really, and it
they're
sucks because like
so
then
beautiful
I'm
people
hypocritical.
inside and out. And my God.
I just think, especially like the last 2
Sad.
months, yeah, and like quarantine and everything, and like I don't look how I really did last year, and like and it's really only noticeable to me. But I just like know myself and like where I should be, and it affected like how I am like when I go out now. Like
You're
I'm
more of
different.
like an introvert.
Yeah.
Yes, people tell me that too. Their kids. I
Yeah.
have a couple clients. Their kids don't even want to go out anymore.
That was me.
So
I had,
sad.
I had a few weeks, and like now I go down the shore with my friends, and like there were some nights I literally was like I just am too ugly to go out. And like that was never me, but it was because of like I'm at a new weight or like that just sounds like so cliche, but it really does.
It
like,
affects you.
And I've been getting better and at it, and like I really don't care anymore because I'm like, all right, like it is what it is. Like, but it really does affect.
Be an olive, Gia.
You know, tell them about that.
Yeah, I read something and it was great. It was that, not everyone's going to like you and it's okay. Right? You're going to laugh at this story.
No, I was sorry.
Some people hate olives. They hate them. No matter what, they're never going to eat an olive.
Right.
Some people adore olives. And you'd rather be an olive. And you'd rather have people adore you than just everyone kind of like you.
Right.
Because you're not
And
going to
I
make
said-
everybody happy, and not everyone's going to like you. You have to love yourself first.
And I said to my mom, and I was like I don't know, like the last like month, I don't know, I just like been not myself, and I'm literally finally getting out of it this past week. And I said to her when she told me that, I was like, I just feel like a spoiled olive, like no one likes me.
You're not a spoiled olive.
No, you're an olive.
I just
Be the olive, and that's
Yeah.
everybody out there. Be the olive.
girls telling you ways, and that's a thing. One last thing, literally no one notices besides you. Like, and I'm a hypocrite for that, but like no one notices.
It's true. The things you sweat, nobody even knows or
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah. So
People are in their own heads.
Right. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's just about taking a deep breath and regrounding yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a great tool for moms to help their kids and what they can say
Yeah.
to them to help them. So I hope that this podcast did help anybody out there struggling. Gia, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to
Thanks.
do our taste in honor of you. This is a product from Ideal Protein that has been around forever, but it's
We're
Gia's
taste
favorite.
testing?
So we're going to taste it.
Here
The
you go.
cookie dough bar.
Oh my,
So have a piece.
10 out of 10 already.
Thanks.
All
Queen.
right.
Oh wait, was I supposed
You're
to?
welcome.
I don't like
That's
her.
okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Be the olive.
Bye.
Oh, my God. So good.
What's up, everybody? We're back. It's just Big Mama, slim thick Mama now, if you will. Pauline has stepped out. It is time to talk about.
And now I'm here. Hey.
Oh yeah, sorry everyone. Marina is here.
How
We
rude
switched
of you.
spots. Yeah, my bad.
It's okay.
My apologies.
Rotation.
And yeah, we're here to continue our conversation about bodies and kind of self-esteem and boys. I think our favorite topic. She's in a relationship, so you don't count.
Okay,
Ew.
but
I'm joking.
even when I wasn't in a relationship, like I went for the wrong people.
Went
and
for
like
the wrong men.
everything was just wrong. So I feel like I learned so much like on the way.
Right.
And now I knew exactly what I was looking for, not only in like a partner, but also in myself, because I hated a lot of things about myself when I was with a lot of other people.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I
No, that's great. We love Mikey. So.
I just think I'm like 35 when it comes to like
13
30
going on
going-
30, 16 going on
Thir-
36.
yeah, I know sometimes I just feel like that because I like don't have time for boys in my like age or high school. Like I think I'm trying to look for a husband and I'm like you're ridiculous, but like guys, I literally can't. Like
Listen.
and I think there's like one friend group with I'm really close with all the guys and I swear I'm just like a guy. Like
Oh, that was me all the time.
because like and I know I'm not
I was their
stupid.
like bro. I was like their sister.
I just feel like boys in high school, and I know this, like, never have the true intention. I'm not saying, like, I don't talk to them because I'm not, like, whatever, but I know what they all want, and, like, I'm not stupid.
Right.
But I also think I put up a shield way too much to the point where, like, I literally, like,
Right.
don't even, like anyone anymore.
Okay, so backtracking, because that's a good point. Obviously, we talked about self-esteem a little bit in the last episode, but first and foremost, we're going to touch on the shield in a second, because I also agree, used to put up a shield because I had some insecurities, maybe about myself, and if I wasn't comfortable with myself, I'm like, how can I be comfortable with someone else, right?
Exactly.
So how do you think kind of self-esteem as a young girl, right? Possibly struggling with weight or identity issues or kind of how you feel in your body. How do you think that plays into like a relationship setting and maybe like what you're attracted to or what you're looking for out of a relationship or out of a guy?
No, I think that because if let's just say you're not comfortable in your body, you're not going to be able to give yourself to somebody because you're not secure within yourself.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
always going to be about, I feel like I would always get anxiety when I was not comfortable with myself. Not that I wasn't like, and then it just made the whole relationship not comfortable and like not suitable for me because I wasn't myself, because I wasn't feeling good in my body. And
When I think I look the worst is when I have the most anxiety, and that's just a thing. But I think mine comes from, like, I don't know, like, I've always been, like, a hard ass, like, especially when it comes to guys, like, I don't know, like, I'm young and everything, but, like, I also, like, I don't know, like, I just put up a shield, and not because, like, the way I look or anything, I just don't think I want them. I can never feel vulnerable, like, you will never know. And, like, if I want to talk about something or, like, my past, like, I don't care, I will, but, like, in the moment, you will never know if I like you. Like, every person, like, I just, like, don't really give that much attention to because I don't, not that I don't care to, I just, like, I'm not willing to yet. Unless, like, they, like, break down my wall, which is stupid because why would you, like, attempt breaking down my wall at 16? Like, I know there's no point. Like, okay? I don't know, and I think that's, like, a bad way to kind of look at it, but I'm very, like, blunt with guys.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it has to do with like the type of guys that like are interested in you or you surround yourself with? Or do you think maybe it's like an age thing or?
I literally think it's an age thing because growing up with all boys, like, and having all older brothers, like, I've seen girls walk in the house and I'm like, oh my God, if I ever turn out like that. Like, there's girls that I'm like, Christopher, like, I make sure I'm not like them still. Like, I will literally be like, I will say names and be like, I'm not like that. And he's like, no. But, like, I don't know. Like, I think also, like, being close with, like, a lot of the guys in my friend group, I know how they view a lot of the girls, and I think that's, like, I am so scared to mess up one time and then be, like, the topic of conversation, especially when it comes to guys, because there's one friend group I have that are just, like, oh, I love them. But they're crazy. Like, they don't really care, and I'm so scared to be, like, talked about, like, how some of the girls are. I think that's why, like, I'm so, like, cut off with guys is because I, like, am so scared to be, like, talked about. I'd be like, she's easier, like, whatever.
Right.
Which is,
Right.
like, it's high school, like, shit's gonna happen, but, like, deep shit, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like today's world is so different than we were.
So
But,
different.
like, I feel like I'm not, like, saying, like, I'm, like, holy, like, I don't go out and, like, anything. Like, okay, like, you know, that's not true, but I don't know. I just, like, don't care for guys right now. Like, really. And I feel like this is, like, where my friends are all like, oh, my God, he's so cute. And I'm like, I have a workout, like,
Right.
in an hour.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
don't
maybe
care.
your priorities are a little different than, you
Yeah.
know, some of your friends, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I also think going back to what you were saying before about how weight can affect all of that. So much. Because, again, like, if you're not secure in yourself, how are you going to give that to somebody else?
No, it's true. And I said that all the time. And it took me until I was 24, which I'm right now, to finally feel comfortable enough to put
like
myself
you're ready. Yeah.
out there, because I always was so insecure about my body and my weight and how I looked. And I was so scared to put myself out there, mainly because, I mean, who wants to be rejected, right? I was always afraid of being rejected. I was afraid of, not looking the part, whatever. And similar to, I guess, how a lot of women feel, like in the gay community, as I talked about in a few episodes, like there are also kind of ridiculous body standards that, you're kind of expected to meet. And if you're not one of those and you don't fit into that category, it's not super inclusive. So if you don't fit into one of those categories, it's like,
You're right.
okay, then how the fuck am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to put myself out there? So I totally get it. And it takes a while, I had to lose 95 pounds, and I'm sure a lot of it had to do with physical things, mental things, self-esteem things, but it's true. Weight plays a huge factor.
It's
and
like,
kind of feeling comfortable and putting yourself out there.
and especially if you were thinner and then gained weight, you know where you were before, so then you're like, because that's all you knew.
It's more that
like,
mental block.
If you were, I feel like in a sense, like if you're always heavier, there's also different like mindset that comes with that, like that's just who I am, like I just don't have confidence at all.
Right.
So it's like hard, and then if you go from like skinny to like gaining a little weight, you know that you look better, or like you had a better version of yourself. So then that like, then you go out and you're like, okay, well I don't look my best, and it's not like makeup or my hair, it's literally my body.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing I could do overnight about that.
And I think like the best advice, even something that I feel like I learned the hard way, is you need to put yourself first 100%, because I feel like the times in which I was getting involved in like the wrong guys, or I wasn't choosing myself, or kind of basically letting myself get hurt, is when I wasn't prioritizing myself. And prioritizing myself, I mean by, doing things that I love, which for me was exercising and eating right.
Right.
And having that lifestyle for myself, and really putting my mental health number one. And, when I did that, I then said, listen, I'm finally ready to kind of get myself out there, because I was always very, very pessimistic. Like, oh, a guy wants to talk to me. Absolutely not. Like, but I also was in this zone where I was like, want to like date myself for a little bit. I don't know.
That's
like what that.
And I'm like, and it's so like, sometimes I just don't feel like I'm 16, but like that's what I went through. Like literally the last like 2 months is I stopped going out as much. Like I went through this phase where I was like waking up at like 5 a.m. every single day, like working out, going to like a class, like eating really clean. And I think it almost like not got too unhealthy. No, it didn't get too unhealthy. I just like was so prioritizing myself. And then like when I got back to like going out a little more and like feeling more confident in myself, it like, I almost like forgot how to do things in a sense.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I think it's like it's like there's two extremes, right? And you kind of need to find that balance. It's like a scale. It's like, so and you're 16, you're not supposed to find that balance when you're 16. Like, let's be honest. I still have sometimes a hard time juggling that balance and kind of finding that balance at 24. But I think it's key to be able to kind of go through both, ends of the spectrum, and then you kind of find a medium, and you kind of find like where you need to be based on your personal experience. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of am now, is like finding the middle ground and like trying just like to do everything. And like that's what I have to remember too, is like I'm not supposed to have it figured out like anytime soon. Like at all. So,
oh my God, no.
So like I'm fine.
I think even at your age, the best thing that you can do is do things that you love and what you like. Worrying about, boys and relationships, like most likely you're not going to be with who you meet when you're 16.
Right. It's like, all that shit is so trivial.
It's a fairy tale.
It's like
I
know that. That's why I think I don't like care. I like to spend time on it anymore. Like, I just, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just so not focused on that.
And most likely a lot of the friends that you're friends with, you may just grow apart from. Like, that's something that 16-year-olds don't understand. I feel like when I was 16, I was holding on to a lot of things that don't matter.
Yeah.
And it just completely cluttered my mental space. And I could have probably used all of that in a different avenue. I remember when I started to, like, exercise and eat really good, you know, for me it was really a decluttering of all those, like, mental blocks,
Right.
which are very hard for somebody your age to be able to do.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. Do you guys think, second question, I guess, or continuing the conversation, do you think that when you had different insecurities, you were attracted to different things in men?
Yes.
Okay. Me too.
I think literally my type was be mean to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to treat me like shit. And I think that that's fantastic. It gives me more of a challenge to literally put myself through anxiety and a whole bunch of
And you think that had to
bullshit.
do with, like, insecurities that you had?
Yeah, because, you know, I think I was, like, I enjoyed the web of, I guess, the drama in a sense. Because, like, like, who's their ex? Who's this? Who's that? And then it was, like...
Almost something to keep your mind off of your insecurities or something.
Yeah, and it was, like, I'm thinking about all this stuff. And now I look back on all of it, and I was like, what was I doing, you know? And now I just always, like, look at my relationship with Mikey, and any of the issues or things that I've ever had in the past are just, like, gone.
Yeah, like not important.
Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy when you finally get to that, like, good place, and then you meet that person.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, too, a lot of times it's, like, you find things in people that are distractions so you don't have to focus on yourself. And obviously can lead down, like, really, like, not great, dangerous paths for some people.
Do you feel like
I
that was
used-
for you? What's your answer?
Come on, Gabe, let us hear.
Stop. My mom's watching. No, I used to be attracted to, like, older guys. Like, not, like, not old. Let me preface, not older. No.
I always said to myself, I think my mom thinks it, but I literally, actually, never mind. Maybe I shouldn't say it. But, like, I cannot stand people, like, remotely close. That sounds, like, weird because but
Yeah,
like,
you're
16-year-old,
16.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you're more
Like,
mature for your age in that mindset.
Not like, I'm talking, like, a grade above. You know what I mean?
I know what
That's erase.
erase.
Delete.
Scratch that.
Delete.
That sounded way worse than it. Never mind.
No, I just think that like, my whole thing always kind of came back to the fact that I never was able to kind of fit the ideal image in the gay community. So I always would be like, oh, how would someone my age want to be with me when they're physically fit, or they could have this, they could have that. So I always kind of gravitated towards not, like, old, like, people probably think I'm talking about, like, people in diapers. Like, absolutely not. Like, it's disgusting. Like, disgusting. Like, like, okay, whatever. We're not playing an age on it. Fuck.
Guys, I was just, okay.
Relax, ma'am. Relax, ma'am. No, but I think a lot of it had to do with my own insecurities as a gay man and as someone wanting to be in a relationship. And I never wanted to focus on myself, so I just kind of pushed things aside. And
All I keep thinking of is diapers.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I have a question because I obviously don't know that. But from what you see in, like, the normal, like, heterosexual, is it completely different in the gay community? Like, relationships and, like, how everything functions, or, like, meeting people, or, like, or no?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's a relationship, you know, like, in the base, like, in the very basic, as a relationship between a male and a female would be, it is a relationship. Like, people are always like, oh, well, who wears the pants and who wears whatever,
No,
who wears
I
the
don't get
pants in the
that.
relationship. Like, no, like, you both wear fucking pants, okay? But, no, it's true. I don't think it's super different. I do think there are some things that are, like, are a little more maybe prevalent in, like, a gay relationship, i.e., like, not being monogamous. And that might just be my viewpoint and my take on kind of, like, the LGBTQ relationship scene. But I mean, it's the same. Like, I meet people out at a bar, you know, like
Yeah.
I met, you know, you meet people on Tinder. I think hookups are a lot more prevalent in like gay culture. And like there's a whole app literally dedicated to hookups called Grindr. And like, I'm not going to lie, I use it. But I mean, okay. Listen, we all need to get some deal. Okay. But, no, I do think, and I really do think that now that I'm in a comfortable place with myself, I'm able to be comfortable with other people, and I'm really actually just being able to want to start a relationship with people and want to find, you know, a boyfriend, a partner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And do you? This goes for anyone. I think when you feel more confident in yourself, you are more confident talking to other people. Like that's just
Oh,
so fact.
absolutely.
Like when you
Yeah.
are like more secure with yourself, you can just.
Yeah. No, I
know
agree
who you are
100%.
and, like, give no shits.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like though it's weird because for me, I always kind of had like this false, like everyone's like when I was fat, I don't know if I could say that, but when I was larger,
Thick?
when I was thick with a few C's, everyone was always like, "Oh my God, you were so confident, you were so confident." But I also felt like I put up like this false wall
Yes.
of confidence, because I didn't want people to know that I really actually was vulnerable and I didn't like my body and I had
Yeah.
insecurities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's kind of weird, you know, the things that you do to kind of hide things and to kind of
Oh,
mask
yes.
things and the people maybe you meet and introduce yourself to and the amount of hookups you go on and the things that you do, you know, just to kind of like, I don't know, feel more confident. Like, do you think that there are people, not do you think, I mean, obviously there are people that probably, you know, their self-esteem is so low that the way that they feel better is by constantly hooking up with people.
Yeah.
Right?
Even
And almost like avoiding
16,
a
like, that's like
relationship.
some of my friends that are
Yeah.
like 16, 17. Like,
Yeah.
That's like half of my friends are just like that. And it's like,
Because they need that gratification
Yeah.
from, you know, that
Yeah.
the opposite sex or same sex,
Right.
whichever
It's just
they're
Right.
attracted to,
dominant,
but they
yeah.
need that validation
Yeah.
and gratification that they can't find within themselves.
Right.
And I think it's like more predominant in high school than you would think, is because like that's like the most insecure years I feel like you go through, and like
Right.
everyone's experiencing everything, and like I just think
And it's also new to
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
at that age.
Yeah.
So when something's new, it's like you guys become
yeah.
like obsessed with it.
So
Yeah.
I just think it's more predominant than like people would think, and I think it like, cause like I don't know, like I've like never really like went through that phase, but like I have friends that are just like only have like good days when a guy like texts them or like,
Right.
and like it sucks, and I like you have so much more worth than just like
Absolutely.
like a late night like it's not worth like. None of like I just think like in 5 years, if it's not worth it, then it's not worth it in the moment. Like
No,
if
I
you
agree.
don't,
And not only is it not worth it, but it's temporarily, it may give you that gratitude or it might help you fill that void. But
Again, you're
as I
filling
said,
a
it's
void.
temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so much of it is actually fixing how you feel inside, mentally, physically, spiritually, literally, whatever it might be. Because those hookups are temporary and it's filling a temporary void.
yeah, I just think the beginning years of your life are only to find you and not anyone else.
I
Yeah.
agree. And it's a rocky path. I mean, life isn't easy. It's not fucking butterflies and rainbows. And you're 16. You've been through some shits. But it's true. It's not easy. And it's a process finding yourself. And some days are better than others. And some paths are rocky and some aren't. And there are twists and turns and all that shit. But it's also kind of the gritty and the uncomfortable and the not fun parts that help you learn and help you grow, you know? Yeah.
I just think I live by this. Like everything happens for a reason. Like everything you
yes.
go through in life is to like get you to the right path.
100%.
Yeah.
All the negatives
Yeah.
included.
Yeah. And I feel like everything is an opportunity for you to learn from and to grow
Yeah.
from.
And
Yeah.
like speaking on relationships, I feel like every time I ended a relationship or someone I was talking to, I always looked at it where I was like, okay, what did I learn about what I didn't like about
Yeah.
myself and what I liked about myself in this? What did I not like in my partner? What did I not like in my partner?
Right.
Taking all those things, learning from them, and then bringing them to the table the next time. And
Right.
then the more learning experiences that you have, then you're finally getting to this place where you're like, okay, now I know exactly what I'm looking for, not only in my partner, but in myself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's true. And like I said, everything you learn from in a past relationship, you know, you do learn a lot from that about yourself,
Absolutely.
about what you want, what you don't want in your next relationship. And you become a stronger person.
Yeah.
Just poked myself.
Yeah, I almost ate my finger before, so don't worry about it. We're on the same page. But do you think it's like harmful for people your age to constantly be kind of like putting themselves out there, like solely like for hookups and like hookup culture? Like, do you think it could lead to a pattern like later on in life?
I just think it leads to low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Like, I just am so...
Like almost like a bigger hole
Yeah.
to dig yourself out of.
Yeah, and I have, like, it's just, like, especially high school and, like, knowing, like, people, it's just, like, it sucks. Especially, like, when, like, a few of my friends are, like, gorgeous, or just, like, girls I, like, know or, like, heard of are so gorgeous, and, like, you just know them as, like, every night they're, like, different, or, like, they're snapping. And, like, it's, like, totally fine. Like, if that's you, there's, like, no whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, like, that's not really what's going to make you happy. Like, the only person that is truly going to make you happy is yourself and, like, your family. And, like, not
Right.
a boy that's on Snapchat, like, being like, oh, my God, you're so hot at 12 o'clock in the morning. Like, that just, I'd rather be in bed, waking up early, and
And
getting
then,
back to sleep.
you know, you got to think, like, on the flip side of that, when, you know, whoever that is gets kind of that wake up call in their head, like, everything then would turn into that learning experience again. Where
Right.
Or, like,
when
guilt
you go
almost.
through it, like, I feel like we've all, when we were younger, had moments when we just kind of not felt like embarrassed, but like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like
like
those
what,
kinds of
yeah.
moments, and then you just learn from them.
Right.
I just think at my age, too, like, when you see, like, people, like, experience their first love or what they think is, like, love, and then,
It's
like,
not.
do, like, yeah. That's why, like, I'm happy. I'm just, like,
You don't
I
need to get involved in
yeah.
that.
Right.
And I'm not planning to anytime soon, so,
She was like, not me, motherfucker.
yeah. Got the wrong one, got the wrong bitch.
Definitely got
I
the
don't
wrong
know.
bitch. I wouldn't fuck with this one, so.
Yeah.
She's tough.
I just, like, don't care. Like, I literally, like, there was a
And
part
that's
of me.
good.
Like, I went through, like, when I was insecure, like, I literally, it was literally because I gained weight. I was so insecure and, like, let people walk all over me. And then, like, I was like, bitch, I don't care. Like, literally, I don't care. Like, friends, if you're fake, I don't care for you. Like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Especially guys. There's just, high school guys, just, no.
Mm.
No point.
Retweet. We've all been there, honey. Fucking tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for this convo.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of talk about like relationships, and especially for like young girls is like one.
And I
if
think
you had
times
to,
are changing.
yeah. Oh my God.
It's
Because,
like,
like,
I literally
you
said
know-
this in the last episode, like, 10 is, like, the new 16.
Yeah.
Like,
It's true.
Which
like,
is crazy.
I I don't know. Like, life was so different when we were born and
Oh,
when we
so
were going
different.
through it. I feel like we were also that last generation of, like, traditional, like, go outside and play.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like
Yeah.
kids are on TikTok in the
Yeah.
fourth grade.
No, I mean, I
Yeah.
had a phone, but in middle school, I got my first phone, but
We
it
talked
wasn't
about
a
this.
smartphone.
Yeah.
It literally was a goddamn walkie-talkie, and I literally
Blackberry.
no, not
Mom
even.
home
It
and
was-
grandma and grandpa.
phones.
It was Nextel. It was Nextel. It wasn't even this flip phone. Everything was on one side, and I literally had to press a button like a walkie-talkie to talk
Oh,
to
wow.
somebody.
But you can only have 250 text messages a
I
month.
don't even think my parents bought me text messages, but my ringtone was fabulous from High School Musical 2, Sharp Evans, baby.
you love.
Yeah, we love a HSM moment. Always HSM forever. No, but that ass.
What's HS?
High School Musical, shut up.
Oh, see, that's just the times. The times.
So bad.
You abbreviated that?
HSM, yes.
Oh my God.
I still remember watching that first fucking movie when it aired on Disney
Yes.
Channel. We had striped couches at my house, and I was sitting in the corner of the couch eating a bag of popcorn, and I remember the opening credits in Utah when they're skiing at that ski resort.
Oh my God.
Oh my
yeah.
God, it was like literally life-changing. That's when I knew I was a homo. Anyway, I'm joking. If you had to sum all of this up into one, like what would you say to girls if they're worried about relationships and their bodies and kind of self-esteem?
Love yourself first.
I
you
love it.
go.
I love it. Amen. Amen to that.
I would say don't get caught up in the bullshit because it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
And high school is not the best years of your life. And don't hold on to it or take it too seriously.
Agreed.
Like, focus on yourself, get into good, like, habits, and just honestly have fun. You're a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, I agree. I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.
Chat soon, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.
hoes.
Bye.